Is there a difference between a super expensive Disney day
versus a budget one?
We are gonna find out by putting it to the test today.
And we're about to have the bougiest day ever. What do you mean I have the cheap day?
Alrighty friends, it's 9:09. We have our first lightning lane of the day. The park opened literally 9 minutes ago and it's gonna be a great day. Because we have a very different day than Sage is gonna have, we're gonna be a little bit relaxed. We have Genie Plus today. And I think first things first, if you are living it up in Disney World, if you're splurging, you're gonna eat breakfast in the parks. So we have to start with breakfast.
I had breakfast and my coffee at home, which would be the equivalent of you having coffee and breakfast in your hotel.
So first up on our stop, we are here at Sokka's Kettle, and this is where we come for what I think is some of the best coffee in all of Disney World. At least it's my favorite, and that's the cold brew black calf. And then we are literally gonna walk right next door to Toronto Roasters, which is where we're grabbing our actual breakfast food.
Now, eating breakfast at your hotel or on the go, it's gonna be a huge time saver, and you're probably gonna save a lot of money. Now, don't get me wrong, we absolutely love Joffrey's. That's one of our favorite places to go. And there are some Starbucks locations here in the parks. Now, they are your typical Starbucks locations, but they can be pricey, and man, you're gonna wait a long time for some coffee at these Starbucks locations. This is a great thing that my family loves to do when they are traveling from out of town. They will actually have groceries delivered to their hotel, and then what they order specifically for me, because I will join them for coffee in the morning. I do iced coffee, and we just take our coffees to go. We'll get on the Skyliner or the bus or get in my car, and we will have our coffee on the go. Another great thing you can do is there's actually a McDonald's on site. It's near Animal Kingdom. Hot tip, they say they sell Dr. Pepper, but they don't. Also an interesting tip is that this McDonald's is just a little bit more pricey than a normal McDonald's, which I think is interesting, but it is definitely cheaper than eating here at the parks if you just want like a quick breakfast sandwich or something like that. But there's a McDonald's on site if you want to swing by on your way into the parks.
Okay, so here is our favorite breakfast in all of Hollywood Studios. And not to say that there aren't other good ones, but this is hands down the best in our opinion. Now this is the morning Ronto wrap. It has cheese, cheddar, a peppercorn sauce, and sausage, all wrapped up in pita bun. And then over here we have a cold brew black calf, which is essentially Joffrey's coffee with some cream cheese cold foam on top, and what is essentially Cocoa Pebbles. It was amazing. I'm in an AllEars style outfit today, but these bags, got those for free. So we might as well start with a coffee. I love this thing, I really do, it's so great. Now, I'm gonna say something unhinged that a lot of people are gonna disagree with, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with putting myself out on a limb here. I actually put a little bit of sugar in this. That probably seems a little bit unhinged because I'm quite literally drinking cream cheese, but just one small packet of sugar and you mix it up and it's perfect. It's so sweet. Now, if you don't like a sweet coffee, it's actually still not that sweet. The cream cheese is definitely tasty, but once you mix it into that cold brew from Joffrey's, it's really not overly sweet. We love it. We think it's a great kind of mix up to all of our different coffee options that we have throughout Disney World. And we have a lot of coffee, so I like having this different option. So the Ronto wrap literally never ever disappoints. It's so good, it's so flavorful. Now this is gonna be a weird statement, and I think I give weird food statements a lot, but egg is not gross. And sometimes if you have like a weird textural issue, eggs can be weird, especially in theme parks, but I really like this one. The sausage is super flavorful, and the pita bread is almost more like a naan. It's really, really nice, and they grill it, so there's a great char on the edge. Like this is probably the best char I've ever had on one, and it's wonderful. This is constantly one that we keep coming back to, but this is not the only breakfast option here in Hollywood Studios, and there's a lot of perks to eating breakfast in the parks, which is a little bit different because a lot of times when we talk about saving money, which Sage is going to tell you all about, there's reasons that we actually discourage it. But if you're not having a super budget conscious trip, then we highly recommend eating in the parks for a few reasons. If you eat here, there is a lot less stress happening at your resort. Trying to get you ready, trying to get your kiddos ready, even if you're without kids, like there's just a lot trying to get out the door, get on Disney transportation, and get out of the room by a certain time, especially very early in the morning. It can be really overwhelming, and a lot of times if you're anything like me and the AllEars crew, you're probably running late before you even wake up somehow. Plus, you have to do Genie at 7 a.m. There's a lot happening, and if you can guarantee at least one thing that you don't have to do in the room, like eating breakfast, it's just gonna make your morning go a lot more smoothly, and it's also just exciting. It means you get a lot more time in the theme park, and you get your money's worth out of your ticket. Also, just on like the selfish reasons, not even worrying about time or spending money or whatever, it's just exciting. It's just fun. One of my absolute favorite things in the world, especially when I was still vacationing here, was coming down and what was I gonna eat for every single meal. I never, ever, even when I was on my budget Disney trips, I wasn't buying granola bars and bringing them to the park, because I know that I value getting to try the different snacks and getting to try the different foods. So part of it is just exciting, especially with breakfast like this, like a Ronto wrap. You could easily split between kiddos, so you can still be budget conscious and still have a good time in the park. But I always, at least in my own opinion, eat in the park if you can. I just think there's a lot of good reasons to do it, but I know Sage is going to disagree. And also, I want to say, I know that Sage is going to be like, Emma gave herself the good day. And in a way, that is true, but only because I'm getting to do something really, really exciting in a little while, and you have to wait, but you will understand. It's so exciting, and it's why my day gets to be a little bit more expensive. But just wait and you'll see it. If this is not really your speed, but you really want to have breakfast somewhere around Disney World, whether it's in the parks or out of it, it can be kind of confusing because there are lots of options. So we did make a complete guide to breakfast around Walt Disney World, which you can check out on the channel right now. Also, thinking about spending money on breakfast, if you're anything like me, sometimes you just do a little girl math to kind of justify your purchases, which is essentially what we're going to do all day today, and I'm very excited about it. But also, if you need to justify your cold brew buck half, there's basically cereal on top, which means you're really getting like a meal and a drink. So why would you not? You know, in the words of Breedlove, you can't afford not to buy it.
Now that I have already had my coffee, I've had a quick bite to eat at the house. I did not have to spend any money on that, so I'm already at $0. Obviously, doesn't count for a park ticket. Park ticket obviously costs money. I'm just talking about while I'm in the park. So now I can just focus on my rope drop strategy. Roller coaster. And this is my rope drop strategy. For today, I chose to do Slinky Dog Dash because Rise of the Resistance is down, and I saw that based on early entry. So I'm about to hit up Slinky Dog Dash, which is a great option for rope dropping. Slinky Dog Dash is a high-speed coaster attraction. I would consider it a little bit more of a family coaster attraction than I would say, Expedition Everest. But on Slinky Dog Dash, you hop inside of Slinky Dog, or maybe on his back, I don't know, and you race through Andy's backyard on this really cool racetrack. Now on Slinky Dog Dash, there are two different launches, which is super cool, and definitely something that I look forward to when riding this attraction. Currently, it says right now it's a 45-minute wait, which makes sense because of early entry. And early entry is where guests who are staying at the resort get access to the parks 30 minutes before normal park guests, or guests who aren't staying at a resort. So wait times are already elevated a little bit, but hopefully we will see what happens. 45 minutes, let's go. No Genie Plus.
Now that we've had a little breakfast, you're gonna think I'm crazy. It's 64 right now, and I was chilly. So I'm now sitting in the sun, and we're gonna talk about Genie Plus, why I'm using it today, and how I'm using it today, plus some of our favorite tips and tricks. Because it's Genie Plus. So for Genie Plus, that is Disney's paid skip the line service. There are 3 tiers. We're using 2 of them today. One is Genie Plus, lets you skip most of the lines in Disney World, and then the other one is the individual lightning lane, which is another fee that lets you skip the biggest ride. So for today, that's gonna be Rise of the Resistance. I did go ahead and buy that today. It was $20, and then Genie Plus itself was also $20. So to skip lines today, I am paying $40. And I actually am gonna say something that a lot of people are gonna think is crazy. I think it's worth it. We're gonna talk about why, but honestly for me, every single time I come for fun with my friends or even just with my mom or my dad, we almost always buy Genie Plus just because mainly the convenience. Now I have to stress, traditionally I'm only paying for 2 people when I come for fun, me and my husband. So it's a lot more easy to justify getting Genie Plus than if I was paying for 4 people. So we understand if you absolutely are just totally against it. And if you are, we have tons of videos on the channel about how to go through each park without Genie Plus, if that's something that you're interested in. And Sage is gonna be talking a little bit about different strategies today as well. But for me, I am blessed enough that we're going to be skipping the lines. So we're going to talk about what I think are the perks there. For example, right now, Rise of the Resistance is 80 minutes and Slinky Dog Dash is 75 minutes. So between the two of them, that is quite a long time to wait, waiting in lines. That's stuff you're not going to get to do, experiences you're not going to get to have, because you're going to be in line for 2 rides for hours, like literally hours. So for me, I went ahead and bought the Lightning Lane for Rise and for Slinky Dog Dash. So this afternoon, I might have to wait 10 minutes for each. We're gonna head right in, we'll hop on, and then that will be literal hours that I can spend doing other things in Disney World, like having a nice breakfast or going to lunch or meeting characters. Just kind of maximizing your time is what Genie Plus is all about. And I truly think Disney says you only get 2 to 3 Lightning Lanes per day. We have tested it. You can get so many more than just those 2 to 3. You can check all of those out on the channel right now. And I think it's just really worth it in the end to be able to experience more of Disney World. And you are going to be paying more. And if that's not in your budget, that's just not in your budget. But if it is, we highly recommend it for that reason. I think this is the perfect segue, the perfect opportunity to go grab one of my favorite drinks and hang out at one of my favorite places in Hollywood Studios and talk about those little excursions there, if you will. Is that the right word? Excursion? I think so.
I love that attraction, always so much fun. A different thing that sometimes we recommend for specifically for Slinky Dog Dash is if you want to ride that attraction, maybe try riding it at night. The entire Toy Story Land comes to life at night. Ray Love and I talk about this a lot, is that when Imagineers are basically inputting the land, they're creating the land. A lot of times what they're doing is they have to do it at night because that's when, guests aren't around. So what Imagineers and what lighting designers and what set designers, when they're seeing it most of the time a lot at night. I believe that what you're seeing at night, all the designs, is basically what the Imagineers and the designers, they wanted you to see. Really, Toy Story Land at night is a whole different ballgame. It's like Pandora at night, how it has 2 different looks. So does Toy Story Land. It's gorgeous. It's so crowded today, and it's slightly sprinkling. Wow, definitely a gloomy day.
If you've never been to Baseline Tap House, this is a bar that kind of operates as just like a nice little lounge here in Hollywood Studios. They have small plates as well as beers on tap and even some different cocktails and ciders. I went with the Bloody Orange hard cider, which is my favorite thing in the world here, and we get it a lot. We are at Baseline a lot, if you know anything about us, and I think going to different bars and lounges around Disney World present a really different kind of experience, especially for adults, that is so much fun and really adds on to the Disney World that we really love. There are several different bars and lounges around Disney World that we absolutely love. Baseline is easily one of our favorites. Tune In Lounge, also here in Hollywood Studios, is a great one that Dustin from DFB in particular really loves. Brown Derby Lounge, which hopefully we'll go to today. There's just lots of great ones here in Hollywood Studios. Epcot, of course, has tons. La Cava is our favorite. Even in Magic Kingdom, you can't drink in Magic Kingdom necessarily, but you can leave and go to the monorail resorts. And honestly, for us, it's just kind of a great space for adults to get away and just kind of take a breath and calm down. And your kiddos can come with you too. They can come and hang out. It's not just adult only spaces, but sometimes when you've been in the crowds for a really long time, it's great for adults and kiddos alike to just be able to find a place to go sit down, calm down, and get away from those crowds. And I think that's why coming to something like this, even though you are probably going to spend a little bit more money here, is really nice. It offers just a moment of zen, a moment of peace, and plus you get a pretty tasty beverage. Especially here at Tap House, they have a great small plates. Their charcuterie is wonderful for the deal. If you want to see more of Baseline in particular, you can go check out Dustin's Perfect Day on the channel, where we actually spend quite a bit of time over here. Talk about Genie Plus a little bit more. I always set a timer for my 2-hour cooldowns, which I did have to do today. So my timer just went off while we're hanging out here at Baseline, and it's a perfect reminder of just check. I always do mine 2 or 3 minutes early so I can check times for the Lightning Lane priorities that I have. And it also means it's just a good reminder, okay, I need to go pull that Lightning Lane. You think you're gonna remember, you're not, I promise. Even this morning I had a timer and I still did it a little bit late. So it just is what it is, but always make sure you have that timer just to help you maximize your Genie Plus payment, honestly. I made my second Lightning Lane selection today. For me, a higher priority is Tower of Terror because it's been open and closed this morning, same with Rise of the Resistance. So I went ahead and grabbed one for a while. Hopefully it will stay open in case it closes later today. Now I will say day. Hopefully I can modify that, but it's only in 50 minutes, so I'm not gonna have to wait for that 2-hour cooldown. I'll be able to make a new one as soon as that 50 minutes is up, and I can tap in 5 minutes early, so it really might only be like 45 minutes, which is very nice. So we're gonna sit here, we're gonna relax, and just enjoy the calm.
Okay, and it's down. Now I came to Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway because this was the next part of my rope drop strategy, because it was a very low wait time, and now I know why it's a very low wait time, because it's currently down. They just made an announcement, they shut it down. They said, everyone, you're welcome to stay in line, but we do not know when it's going to be back up, which just means we're going to have to shift a bit. The big pro of not using Genie Plus is that you're not going to be on your phone all day. Being attached to your phone and your My Disney Experience app, you know, you're going to be a little disconnected from the world around you. You're going to it's going to take you out of the immersion, and that's not necessarily what you want when you're looking for a vacation to get away. Now, yes, is it absolutely helpful so you're not spending hours and hours in line? Absolutely. But, you know, for those of you that I know desperately want to disconnect from your phone, Genie Plus is going to do the opposite of that. You're going to be glued to your phone the entire time, because you're always going to be wanting to modify to get the best time, looking at all the wait times, all that jazz. So not having Genie Plus and not spending a bunch of money is a go. But it looks like Tower of Terror is the lowest wait so far this morning. So because we couldn't do Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway, we will do Tower of Terror and see if we can double back to Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway a little bit later on.
Alrighty, so it's a little bit before our time for Tower of Terror, so we're gonna head and go on over. Like I said earlier, you can actually tap in a little bit early, and it's always super beneficial to do that, so that way if you are a little bit before that 2-hour time, you're going to be able to make your lightning lane before a lot of people in the park. It's just going to give you better options, and you're going to get better times by doing that. Alrighty, here we are, Tower of Terror. If you've never been on it, it's a fun drop ride themed to the Twilight Zone. It is one that if you are scared of heights, maybe be a little bit cautious with it. It is pretty startling, and the theming is honestly a little bit scary for younger people, and also just, you know, scaredy cats like me. But recently I've learned to love it, and thanks to Genie, we're saving probably 80 minutes of our day, because right now the wait time is 80 minutes, but we're lucky enough to have Genie. And now that we're tapped in, we can go ahead and make our next lightning lane for the day.
All right, posted wait time of 40 minutes. I'm in and out, or I guess I'm at the time cutoff location at 32 minutes, so not bad. If there's a pre-show before an attraction, that's when the posted time ends.
Fun. Suddenly the last few months I've decided I really love it, and it still really scares me, but I can have more fun on it. Now this one is, you know, it's one of the more intense rides here in Disney World, but it was so much fun, and the girl next to me kept grabbing my arm, and I was like, of all the people, I am here for you. Out of everyone in this ride, I understand what you're feeling, Miss Stranger, and it was wonderful, and I felt connected with her, and honestly, I think I'm in the mood to splurge a little bit again.
It is definitely a crowded day, but I cannot say enough positive things about Tower of Terror, and I know that shouldn't be a shock to anybody, but previously I'd have been like, yeah, I'll do Tower of Terror if I have time. They've definitely done something to the attraction. They've brushed it up during one of the refurb periods, but at least the drop sequences are different, which is really cool. I feel like for the first time I actually don't know what to expect on Tower of Terror. It got me good a couple times. Instead of like shooting me up, it actually dropped me down, which it's been a long time since that's happened, so I was like, whoa, what's happening? It was really good. Here's another thing that I'll say about not purchasing Genie Plus for our budget-friendly day, is that you are doing a little more hustling. It's a lot of hurry up and wait. For example, when you see a low wait time because you don't have Genie Plus and you don't want to, and you want to wait in that low wait time so that way you can ride the attraction, you end up really hustling to get there. You're hustling to the attraction that you want to get to, and then you end up sitting and waiting for a long time in that longer attraction. For example, we are headed back to Toy Story Land, to Toy Story Mania, because that actually has a surprisingly low wait time for what it typically is. Typically you'll find Toy Story Mania about 60 minutes, sometimes higher. That's on normal park days. Right now it's a 25-minute wait, so we're gonna hustle all the way back to Toy Story Land, get on Toy Story Mania, and practice our arcade skills.
So we talked about how it was 80 minutes before I got in line, and I noticed when we first hopped in, that lightning lane's looking a little long. And then it got longer. And then there was an announcement that half of Tower had broken down, so only one half of the elevators was working. And you might think, Emma, why are you talking about this? Well, a lot of times with Genie Plus, you will hear the complaint that the lightning lanes don't move fast enough, and I think that that's very relevant. Today, just right now, I timed it. I waited 24 minutes for my lightning lane for Tower of Terror. However, I also know that the wait time jumped to 125 minutes while I was in line. So I think spending 24 minutes in line versus 125 minutes still was worth it to me, because now I can go spend 100 minutes at one of our favorite places in Hollywood Studios and not feel bad about it. We've already touched on bars around Disney World, and maybe we mentioned lounges, but I don't think we've talked about sit-down lunches and lounges. So we're gonna stop here by the Hollywood Brown Derby to grab a few maybe special eats and maybe a special drink. Now, the Hollywood Brown Derby Lounge is essentially the outdoor dining space for the Brown Derby Lounge, which is one of the nicest dining establishments, table service restaurants here in Disney World. This is one that for me is like a very fancy, very nice experience, and coming to the lounge is not as nice in necessarily the decor and how the experience feels, but it is a perfect, nice lunch spot, and we're going to talk about why.
Toy Story Mania is an arcade-style shooting game where you compete with your entire cart to see who can get the highest score. It's very midway-centric. Think carnival games. Popping balloons, ring toss, like Western shooting arcade. And it is 3D, so they do give you 3D glasses. Now, Quincy likes to say that she actually aims better without the 3D glasses, but I wholeheartedly disagree.
Now, if you are going to come to one of the lounges, or even you want to just grab a last-minute walk-up dining reservation, you can do that through the My Disney Experience app. For me, I went ahead and joined with my party of one, technically two, but he can sit on Mama's lap. Why did I say that? So I went ahead and joined with my party of one, and I actually only have a 10-minute wait for what a lot of people consider one of their highest priorities when it comes to dining spots, which is the Brown Derby. I'm very excited. We're gonna really enjoy it, and we're gonna talk a little bit more about lounges throughout Disney World. Now, the best part about this is this has almost the entire menu from just the regular Hollywood Brown Derby, and you don't even need a reservation for it. That's why we kind of find ourselves here a lot. It's always a last-minute decision, and I waited all of 10 minutes to get in to the Brown Derby Lounge, which often you can find reservations have filled up for. Now, for me, the Brown Derby was always like one of those kind of bucket list Disney moments. The first time I ever came like as a big kid on my own, no parents, and I wasn't here for my DCP, this was like my coveted reservation. I was very excited for this, and so being able to just kind of like stroll up is so exciting and so different. And you can also just grab a drink if you don't want to go to the entire lounge, if you don't need lunch. That's just an option as well. You can do the walk-up bar, but for me today, I'm grabbing two of the most iconic things you can get here at the Brown Derby, because if you're going to come to an iconic restaurant, you might as well get two of the most iconic eats. And it's like a very fun day, so you kind of have to.
Oh, that's not terrible. Someone beat me by 3,000. Or by 300, no, by 3,000. Yeah, someone beat me by 3,000. So close.
Okay, so I've got my first iconic thing, my grapefruit martini, but as my waiter Bobby brought it over, he said this is what we call a lean and sip, because it's so filled to the brim. So we'll start this way. Incredible. So this is my grapefruit cake martini, and if you don't know, the grapefruit cake was like a really popular dessert in the actual Brown Derby. So this drink is a combination of Deep Eddy's ruby red grapefruit vodka, Stoli vanilla vodka, and a little bit of cream, and traditionally if you get it inside, it actually comes with a graham cracker rim, but you can't do that here outside because of bugs and birds, unfortunately. If you don't know this about me, I am a super sweet drink person. I actually put a little bit of sugar in this. And this is just the perfect dessert drink, if you will. It is so light and creamy, but it's not sugary, which is kind of surprising. A lot of Disney drinks can be a little bit too sugary, and I'm gonna say this and I hope you follow me, gives you that weird feeling in your teeth. Some of those Disney drinks do. This does not. It's just nice and sweet and has a little bit of a tartness from the grapefruit, but it's creamy, so it's really interesting. It's very different, and I understand why this is a classic here. Here to pair with my famous martini, I did go ahead and grab the famous Cobb salad, and that's actually the name. Our famous Cobb salad is like the actual name. In the Cobb salad, you're gonna find turkey, bacon, eggs, tomatoes, blue cheese, avocado, classic dressing, and you can even add chicken or shrimp on it, but frankly, I felt pretty good with how it is. So we're gonna dig in, and we're gonna have a nice, expensive day, and you and I are just gonna have the most beautiful lunch together. So get your lunch ready, okay? The best part about a Cobb salad is just mixing up the Cobb salad, because it's already perfectly chopped, and just making sure you get every single good bite. Ugh. This is euphoric. This is the best part of my day, and I'm so happy. And if you've never done this, highly recommend it. You just feel classy, kids. I don't know what else to say. You just feel classy. Okay, when it comes to the salad, this is the best salad in Disney World. And I don't even know, like, I don't even love blue cheese, and I get it with everything. The combination of the blue cheese, the avocado, and the dressing all mixed up makes the salad so nice and creamy and flavorful, which creamy is an interesting word, but it really is. There's always, you know, sometimes when you get a salad and there's not enough dressing, and so like half of the pieces are really good because there's the right amount of dressing and the half is just like lettuce. That's not the situation here. It mixes so beautifully. It's so finely chopped that nothing feels like too much or too overwhelming. The strong flavors of the bacon and the blue cheese definitely come through, but thanks to the things that are a little bit more mild, like the egg and the turkey, it really balances out those flavors. It's a little bit tangy even. I mean, it's really, really nice. A lot of people will add chicken to this and make it a full meal. I'm obviously making it a full meal today without. So it's totally dependent on how hungry you are. But the girls, me, Quincy, and Bri, will often get an entree and this and then split it. So that way we can get a little bit of salad and then also get an incredible entree. I know Cassie loves the chicken and dumplings here, and they are incredible. So there's just lots of nice options. And this is just a great way to have a nicer experience at a lounge without having to waste a ton of time. It's faster than a dining reservation, and there's less stress because if you decide to do it day of, you can. Now, we always preach about doing, you know, pre-plan, figure out as much as you can, and that is true and that is helpful, but at the end of the day, if you decide you want to go to a nicer lunch or you just want to sit down, you need to, and it's a great way to do it. This is a great place to do that, and any of the lounges around Disney World. Even Ohana has a lounge, Steakhouse 71, all of the monorail resorts have tons of lounges. It's hard to pass up a deal like this, and it's just nice. It makes you feel a little bit more calm, and you know what? Treat yourself. You're in Disney World.
All right, the sun's finally coming out a little bit. It's been a successful, it's almost kind of successful rope drop morning. We did 3 attractions: Slinky Dog Dash, we tried to do Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway, Tower of Terror, and Midway Mania. That's not a bad morning. But now I think it's time for some lunch. Budget-friendly lunch, so let's get it. For our budget-friendly day, we're actually headed to the Backlot Express restaurant. The Backlot Express restaurant is a Hollywood Studios or even an MGM Studios staple. They call it a warehouse of good eating, a warehouse because it is a warehouse for a bunch of movie props, memorabilia, costumes, like set pieces, things like that. It really goes back to what Hollywood Studios, formerly MGM, used to be about, which is all about making movies, how they make movies behind the scenes, all those things. This is a great location, one of my favorite locations, quick service locations here at Hollywood Studios, specifically because, one, I love the vibes, but two, this is just a great outdoor space. It's always covered, and you can always find seating here 9 times out of 10. And they've got 2 soda fountain stations, which that's my treat. Soda fountain. Like if I'm going to drink soda, it's going to be from a soda fountain, and they've got 2 of them here, which is awesome. This is also an super easy place to grab your free water. But I'm going to do something that I've literally never done before for our budget-friendly day, and that is ordering off the kids menu. Now, typically when I come to the Backlot Express, I'll get something super simple, like either one of their teriyaki, like one of their bowls, or the chicken strips, just because theme park food, chicken strips, that's my typical go-to. That's super easy, and I know I'm always going to enjoy what I get. Now, when I have talked to some friends about ordering off the kids menu, they're like, isn't that a little embarrassing? No, because you can absolutely do it here. And if it is embarrassing for you for some reason, all you got to do is mobile order. Nobody knows who it's for. And pick up number 5. Here we go. This is absolutely wild to me. This is the first time I've done this, and I literally don't think I'm going to order differently ever again. So typically the adult portion comes with 4 chicken tenders, but these are huge chicken tenders. And I substitute fries. And yes, the soda is small, but there are soda fountains, and you can refill it as many times as you want. I mean, and a cookie. This was all around $9 with tax. Plus I got my free water, some ketchup, and some ranch. Also, no, this is the 3rd restaurant that I've been to in the past 3 days where they used to have honey mustard, and now all the honey mustard is slowly going away, which makes me sad and mad. So truly, right there, we saved like $7. That's wild. Fry Bucket has been telling me order off the kids menu for a long time, but like, I just didn't want to. And it's not that like I didn't believe her. It's just like one of those things where it's like I just don't need to. I'll be an adult. I'll order off the adult menu. I ate off the kid menu for a long time, till I was at least 12. Now I can be an adult. This is a little eye-opening for me. This just in, the chicken tenders on the kids menu taste exactly the same as the chicken tenders on the adult menu.
Okay, so finally finished up at Brown Derby, and I just have to say, I just sat and relaxed, and I actually worked on my phone for a while, and I people watched, and Chip and Dale have been out here messing around, and it's just been so much fun, and I really just highly recommend it. It also, like I said, just makes you feel classy, and there's lots of places to do that around Disney World. This just happens to be one of our favorites. Now, Chip and Dale are still messing around out here, but it's time for another lightning lane, so let's head on to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. If you've never heard of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, it's a really neat trackless ride. It kind of takes you into the story with Mickey and Minnie, and frankly, I really love it. And also, in front of the Chinese theater where Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is, you can find Kermit the Frog and Jim Henson's Hands and Prints and lots of other people, but I really just care about Kermit.
And with kids' meals, you get a cookie. It's been a long time since I've gotten a cookie, just in general. Not a bad cookie. Hey, let's normalize just bringing back cookies in general. I like cookies. Typically, when we are running back and forth between rides, it's important to find, just a moment to just kind of relax, to chill out. Whether that be what I would typically do, go to Tune In Lounge, or the Brown Derby Lounge, grab a nice cocktail, a beverage, wind down for a second. But because we're trying to stay as cheap as possible, we're gonna do the other thing that includes winding down in a sense, mostly for our bodies, but our minds are gonna be stimulated. And that's obviously live entertainment. Now, running around all day, standing in line, it can get pretty taxing, so finding these chill moments are super important. A way to maximize your time and save on money, because it is a free experience, is seeing some live entertainment shows. Hollywood Studios really does have some great live entertainment. Truly, all the parks do. I would say some of the best entertainment is at Animal Kingdom, specifically Festival of the Lion King and Finding Nemo, The Big Blue and Beyond, but also here at Hollywood Studios, Beauty and the Beast live on stage, Frozen Sing-Along, and of course my favorite, which we're gonna go see, the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular. The Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular is approximately a 35 minute show where you get a behind the scenes look of how some of these crazy, amazing, epic stunt scenes are performed. So throughout the show, you'll see stuntmen and stuntwomen do 3 scenes from Raiders of the Lost Ark. But then, of course, they're the scenes that you remember from the movie, like the giant ball scene. There's tumblers, there's fire. It's a really cool show to experience. And it's been around for a very long time. For 34 years. Some of the actors who even performed in the show 34 years are still in it. No longer stuntmen, but now they are, playing the role of the director or the casting director.
wonderful time as always. Wave bye to Walt. And we've got more to do. Now we are finished with Mickey and Minnie. It's so much fun. It's very cute, it's relaxing, and it's great for kiddos and families. And I just think the tech is cool too. Now we're gonna head into Toy Story. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We actually have two big things back there, plus what I kind of consider another Genie Plus tip. We are easily in the busiest land today. Toy Story is almost always going to be super busy, especially during the holidays, which is when I'm filming this. But we're going to start by going on two big Toy Story rides pretty much back to back. So first we're going to head on Toy Story Mania. If you don't know what this is, it's like a carnival shooting game. I really love it. I have a weird obsession with it, and we're going to have fun together.
Even though it is a pretty gloomy day today, it's important to always hydrate. We're gonna go on Star Tours because it's only a 10-minute wait. Now the bottles of water here at Disney World, they're gonna range anywhere from $4 to $5. That can add up really quickly. Here at AllEars, we always recommend a couple different things. First thing would be bringing your own water bottle. There are refillable water bottle stations all over Disney World. You can even use the soda fountains. You put it in cups and then put it in your water bottle. It's a great way to save money. Which brings me to the free water. At any quick service location, you can go up to the mobile ordering area and ask for a cup of water. They will either give you a cup of water that is filled with water and ice, or they will just give you an empty cup where you can take it to a soda fountain or a refillable station. Recently, we have seen over places like Casey's Corner and Magic Kingdom and a couple different locations that there are just large tanks of cold iced water that you're able to refill your tiny cups of water with. Oh man, we are all the way in the back, all the way in the corner. That means things are about to get wild. I'll explain.
All right, so finished on Toy Story Mania. It's finally time for our Slinky dog, which if you recall was the first lightning lane I pulled this morning, but after a little snafu, our time was a little bit later, but that's okay because now we're getting to do everything kind of all at once, and frankly we're gonna finish Toy Story in one sweep and not have to come back. Now that being said, I'm like rushing over here to try to get in line before it starts raining because it's not looking the prettiest right now, and this is one that will close if it starts to rain. So maybe kind of consider that, prioritize Slinky if the weather looks not the best, but normally it'll open back up. Slinky dog was a 55-minute wait. I have walked literally right up to the front of the line. So I might wait 5 minutes for the next train to come around, but that's about it.
But when I said that I was in for a trip because I was in the very last row all the way in the corner, because that's typically where things get a little wild. And I mean, the motion gets a little wild. So it's basically a shaky box. It's a motion simulator, and the axis is at the center of, if you can see, I only have two hands, but the axis is at the center, so it flips up, down, side to side, corner to corner, kind of rotates like that. So the further you are in the center of the Star Speeder, the less movement you'll feel. The further out you are, forward, back, left, right, or in the corner, it's gonna be, a fast and loose experience. So if you are prone to motion sickness, I don't know, maybe avoid the sides and the corners. All right, Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway is back open. It's one of my favorites because I don't get to do it that often. It's about an hour, which is the shortest line in the park right now, other than doing Star Tours again or doing Muppet Vision 3D. So we're gonna do Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway. Let's do it.
Okay, Slinky dog. It's so much fun. I know that I said that about the line being harsh, and that is true. That it doesn't make it wrong. But my goodness, I love this line. But my goodness, I love this ride. It's just so much fun, and honestly, it's a thrilling ride, especially because little kiddos can ride it, but it's a lot more intense than you would think, even with that lower height requirement. So now one more line in Toy Story. Now today we are not just being excessive, we are just doing things that are really more of like splurges and nice things in Disney World. But if I was being excessive, I would stop by Woody's Lunchbox back here just to get a grown-up lemonade just because we could, because they're delicious. So if you want something sweeter with just like almost notes of carbonation and cherry and sweetness and goodness, go over there. All right, so now we are gonna head on to Alien Swirling Saucers, which honestly is not one of my personal favorites, but this one can get a pretty high line. Surprisingly, it's not too bad right now. Wait times have definitely started to drop this afternoon, but we're gonna skip it anyways, because you know why? We paid for it, so you might as well use that service. Alrighty, so I just finished up on Alien Swirling Saucers. It's fun, it's cute, it's Fry favorite, and it took me 40 minutes from the time that I started Toy Story Mania until I finished this, did all 3 rides here. It took me 40 minutes with my lightning lanes, and collectively, the entirety of Toy Story Land is about a 125-minute wait right now, so I am not upset by that, or by the drummers going past. Now, earlier when I talked about Toy Story Land kind of being a tip in and of itself, of course you want to use Genie Plus for these bigger rides, which Toy Story Land is a bigger section. But really what I was doing right there, and what I think worked out really well for us, is we were kind of stacking lightning lanes. So that's another great perk of Genie Plus, and this is not a Genie ad, even though it kind of feels like it. It's nice to be able to sleep in, go about your morning a little bit more relaxed, and then have all of these rides toward the end of the day. That's totally a Breedlove tip. He literally has told me before, like, he'll just sit all day and stack lightning lanes through the night, modify them as needed, and then he'll just be able to come to Hollywood Studios, do everything in a few hours, and go home. So I think that that's a great tip. Now we've made our way back into Star Wars Galaxy's Edge to talk about a few things and to maybe ride a ride or two, but one of those things that I really want to talk about is if you are kind of having a more splurgy time at Disney World, there are really special things that you can do that aren't, on the normal agenda. So there's a lot of things you can do around Walt Disney World that are kind of like upchargy, and especially here in Galaxy's Edge, there's actually 2 really neat things that are kind of upcharges. They're fun souvenirs, they're different, but they're also experiences. One of which is the Droid Depot shop, which is this right here. You can make reservations, but you can also sometimes get same-day walk-ups, and you get to come in here and you get to customize your own droid. Now it is pricier, but it's actually not the priciest upcharge offering that they have in Galaxy's Edge. No, the priciest upcharge in Galaxy's Edge is going to go towards Savi's workshop, which is right here next to the Droid Depot. And this is where you get to go and you get to create your own lightsaber. Now, this is not just a souvenir. No, this is an experience. This is something Quincy and I have gotten to do. You can only do it one person, and they get to bring a guest with them. However, that one person on the reservation is who gets to create the lightsaber, but still just being in there and with her watching it was incredible. We'll drop some footage here of that. Truly, this is a great upcharge. Now, yes, I think it's a great upcharge, but I'm also gonna say, like, it's an upcharge, you know what I mean? It is expensive, and it is one of those experiences, if you are a massive Star Wars fan, you should probably do it if this is like your lifelong passion. But if you only kind of like Star Wars and you don't really care if you have a lightsaber, or your kiddo is interested in lightsabers but you don't want to spend that much money, there are other options. You can actually head to Tatooine Traders, where they have like a similar build your own lightsaber thing, but significantly cheaper, more affordable, some might say. And I think those upcharges are really exciting. They can make your same old Disney trip a little bit more exciting, and frankly, they're just cool special experiences, but they are upcharges. Another thing that people might upcharge for oh, that's right. I literally can't get the camera to turn around, but you have to just trust me, the breeze right here. Another thing that people will tend to upcharge for in Disney World is those after hours events. Hollywood Studios sometimes they'll rotate through which parks have after hours every year. Right now, during the holidays, you can find Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party over in Magic Kingdom, or you can find Jollywood Nights here in Hollywood Studios. Now, especially with Jollywood Nights, some people feel a little bit torn on if they're worth it. We have done full videos on after hours events, Mickey's Very Merry, Mickey's Not So Scary, Jollywood Nights, anything you might have questions of. We have full reviews up on the channel right now, but there's a lot of reasons people might choose it. Sometimes those after hours events can cost as much as a park ticket, but crowds are significantly smaller, so it's a lot nicer for people to be able to come in after hours. It's cooler most of the time, and the wait times are a lot lower, but you get less park time. There's pros and cons to all of it, but if you want a really in-depth kind of discussion on that, you can check out those videos on the channel right now. But now for one of our major upgrades today, we did get that individual lightning lane for Rise of the Resistance, so I'm gonna hop in line, and I love this ride. It's so much fun. Right now, it actually has been closed for a while. It just reopened about 6 minutes ago, and the wait time is already at an hour, but luckily we had our individual lightning lane for right now. This is one of the most popular rides in Disney World. If you don't know what it is a trackless ride that takes you through a Star Wars story. You're gonna get captured by the First Order. I hate to spoil it, but it's really scary, a lot of fun, and it's not actually scary, it's like Disney scary, just gets you excited. But for Star Wars fans, it's incredible, and even if you're not a Star Wars fan, the ride itself is more of an experience than even just a ride. Like, it's truly incredible, and you might think, I don't really care about Star Wars, still ride it. It's truly incredible. The technology alone makes it worth it. And we're gonna skip the line.
Now we're getting kind of towards the end of the day, the end of the night. Typically, if I'm here at Hollywood Studios, and I am going to see Fantasmic, but typically if I was going to see Fantasmic, I love to do the dining package, which that's where you pay a prefix price at one of the 4 locations, or dining location, table service locations, Mama Melrose, Hollywood and Vine, 50s Primetime, and Sci-Fi Dine-In. And you get a voucher that gives you priority seating to Fantasmic, so you don't have to wait the hour and a half to 2 hours in order to get a good seat. Recently, Quincy and I did a perfect day where we actually I took her to Sci-Fi Dining for the very first time, and we did the dining package. But because we're trying to save on money, I think we're gonna have to brave it. We're gonna just find something for dinner. We're gonna do a quick service meal for dinner, and then we're gonna have to wait in the Fantasmic line, and that's about it. I decided the place I'm gonna go for my quick service before getting in line for Fantasmic is ABC Commissary. I could have done something closer to the Fantasmic line, but honestly, I'm gonna get in line early enough to get a solid seat. I can also get a snack inside of Fantasmic. Like, once I have my seat, I can go. There is a whole snack stand in the back where I can get mini corn dogs, and that could technically be what I do. But it is early enough that I think, why not? I'm having a pretty good day. I'm gonna treat myself to some ABC Commissary. Now, ABC Commissary is supposed to be the place where the stars would come when they're not currently filming their TV show. That this is where they would all eat. There's typically a commissary in every movie studio lot or TV lot where all the stars would come and eat. This is where they would get their food. But this is the ABC Commissary, so you'll see different ABC shows, posters all over the wall, like Claim to Fame, Kelly and Mark, General Hospital. I did look at the kids menu options here at ABC Commissary, and it's the same kind of stuff. It's you can get the chicken strips, there's a grilled chicken sandwich. Nothing is calling to me, so I figured I'm gonna splurge just a bit, because we did save some money at Backlot Express on the kids meal. I'm gonna order off the adult menu like an adult, and I'm gonna get one of my favorite things here. The buffalo chicken grilled cheese is so good. It's just a mouthful of flavor. It has just the right amount of kick. It's a little bit oily in that really feel good, warm kind of way. Definitely, it's gonna give me the warm and fuzzies right before I get even more warm and fuzzies before I go see Fantasmic.
Okay, finally managed to get out of Galaxy's Edge. Was arrested, put into a jail cell, dropped from a spaceship. Lots of nerve-wracking things, and I paid for that, so I'm okay with it. Now there is some more stuff to do, but probably the most exciting part of our day, and the reason that I said I get to do the expensive day, is coming up. So we're gonna be leaving Hollywood Studios. We get to go hang out with someone that I really like, and I get to do something I've never done before, but I've always wanted to do. Can you guess? Tell me right now what you think it is. I bet you're wrong. I brought backup.
Now we both are spending money.
Spending money, but it's on my bill. Sorry, Sage. He's probably still fighting for his life in Hollywood Studios.
Now, there are 2 showtimes for Fantasmic. Always check your My Disney Experience app to find out when the show times are. Sometimes there's 1 show, sometimes there are 2 shows. The first show tonight is at 7:30. Now, because the park is so crowded, because I don't want to miss out on the first show, because the second show would be 9 o'clock, and that's past my bedtime. We always say if you want to get a good seat for Fantasmic specifically, I would arrive at least an hour, maybe even more before the showtime, specifically for Fantasmic. Now, I know that seems like a long time, but the Fantasmic shows will fill up, and they will fill up quickly. And yes, Fantasmic is a great show, but there are some seats that aren't great. If you're all the way on the sides, you could be missing out on really the full picture. I definitely have a better experience when I am seated in a better location. And if I am seated all the way on the side, it doesn't take away anything from me. It's just like, oh, this is kind of weird.
In the world of spending and things that you can do to kind of plus up your Disney World trip, we're gonna do a table services on my bucket list, one of her favorites.
Signature.
Expensive. We are here for Gico.
African wine. African means
Gico. Keep going.
Africa.
Gico.
African sunset themed atmosphere.
Gico.
African Babodi mac and cheese.
Gico.
The largest collection of South African wine outside of South Africa.
Gico.
After adding up everything that we did today, all included with tax, it was $21.81. That is everything I spent today. Now, and you can even lessen that by potentially bringing food with you, or even taking a break from your day here at Disney World, heading back to your hotel, maybe having dinner at your hotel. I should note that, be warned, that not every hotel room has a microwave, but if yours does, that's also a possibility. But all in all, I think we had a very budget-friendly day, and we still had a pretty solid day. Even after arriving a little bit later than I should have for rope drop, I mean, we still managed to rock out 3 different attractions for rope drop. We saw a show, had a great lunch, rode a couple more attractions, then had a solid dinner, and we're gonna see the early showing of Fantasmic, which is the best nighttime spectacular in my opinion.
I just wanted to pop in really quick to this video and say we are having our dinner. It's absolutely to die for. I'm hearing the woes of Frankenstein straight from Mary Shelley. We're not there, but I know we're gonna be there. And if you guys wanna see this full review, you need to check it out on the channel. However, you're only gonna hear part of Frankenstein in this one, so.
If you want to know what happens in Frankenstein, you can get the book.
Oh, I thought you were about to say, like, stay tuned.
Also, I am aware that I am only one person and the $21.81 was only spent on me, but in a family of 4, you know, that obviously quadruples, and then you're spending a little over $80, which could be a whole lot worse for a Disney trip from what, I know Emma is spending on the other side of this spectrum.
I'm not kidding when I say she and Fry were over at my house the other day. I was painting their nails. This was 2.5 hours. The only thing we talked about was her Dracula show. That is not an exaggeration. Great show, though.
Great show.
Really loved hearing about it.
All right, now let's get ready for Fantasmic. If you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. Now go watch the full review that Emma just did over at Gico.
However, I think today's video proved that you can have a great time whether you're on a budget or whether you're willing to splurge just a little bit. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Now, if you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. And now go check out our full Gico review up on the channel right now. I'll see you there.